This podcast contains explicit language.
Apologies for any sound quality issues, folks. We had a fun recording session. Enjoy.
Good times.
Oh yeah, but we still haven't come up with, still hasn't come up with ideas yet.
Too late.
Topic.
This is Carlos.
And this is Dave.
Two fat guys, talk games, and friends.
And friends.
And friends.
Me too.
Yes, excellent.
And friend. Sorry.
Well, welcome, friends. Today we have Kiki with us.
Hi.
We have Poe with us.
Initiate greeting. Hello.
And we have Isaac with us.
Hi.
Howdy. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Yeah, doing really well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming back on the show. Friend of the show, and now friend on the show. So, it's been an eventful 9 episodes since we've had you last, Isaac. You were on episode 11, and this is episode 21.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I guess it has been an eventful however long that is.
Yes, and those 3 people who listen to our show will remember that Isaac was a Vancouver Film School game design student, and he has now graduated his program. Congratulations, Isaac.
Yay!
Oh, thanks so much. Yep, glad to be done. Good year, but glad to be finished and looking at the industry now.
Cool. Hopefully we will see your name on many games to come. Speaking of games, what the hell have y'all been playing?
I'll start. I have been playing Project Diva, which is on the PSP. It's originally for it's a Japanese game, but I totally own it. And it's for those of you who don't know, I don't know if you've heard of the Vocaloid Hatsune Miku. It's basically just a music rhythm game. I've just been trying to get perfect on it just because I feel that's fun to do. And what else have I been playing? I've been really into Phantasy Star Online 2, which I've mentioned before, but otherwise nothing too new, unless you count an iPhone game, which is just a puzzle game, but yeah.
It's not an iPhone game, is it? It's an Android game.
Oh, I mean Android. God damn it.
That's no big deal. No big deal. No one's going to sue you over that.
They might.
All right, I'll go. I've been practicing and playing HD Remix and Skullgirls Online, playing Guild Wars 2, which is quite a fun MMO with a lot of mechanics that I wish I had seen in MMOs a long time ago, like weapon skills that are based on your currently equipped weapon and class, and that change dynamically. And they limit the amount of skills you can use, which is kind of nice, because I never liked the WoW system of having 30 bazillion skills available all at once. I kind of want a smaller, more focused, more purposeful amount. And this game definitely has that. So those are the games I've mainly been playing. Isaac, what have you been playing?
I was on a trip for the past weekend in school before that, so I haven't played a whole lot, but my comfort food for the past 6 months has been Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. And on this trip, I played an iPad game, a puzzler with some RPG elements called Super Magical, which was, is kind of cute and fun. And I also played a little tiny bit of the original Halo because that's what was available at the place where I was visiting.
Excellent. Good stuff. Sir Richie was here, he would talk at length about Mass Effect 3. Or if Dave was here, he would talk at length about it. Dave?
Oh, Dave's not here again?
He's here. He's just on mute or something.
Oh, okay.
And bye.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave. Dave, what have you been playing?
Carlos.
The fuck?
What is happening?
I don't know.
Well, it's not me.
Not me either.
Yeah, no, I promise that's not me. That's weird. Echo.
Poe, what have you been playing?
A lot of things. Firstly, I've been mixing it up between WoW and Phantasy Star Online 2. WoW ever since patch 5.0 came out with the new Mr. Pandaria talents and all that shit. Fun little talents and fun little boosts and different play mechanics for some of the classes. Each of the different specs feel a little different now. Now in Phantasy Star Online 2, I'm just doing some grinding and leveling until September 12th when the new classes and weapons comes out. I'm sure Kiki's excited about that too.
Hell yeah.
And on Steam, I've been playing a lot of either Binding of Isaac or not current Isaac, or Symphony, which is the game similar to Beat Hazard, where it's a shooting game that uses the music you have on file on your stored in your hard drive as stages. The difference is that it has a bit of a story where this evil demon has taken the souls of the musicians who composed the music of that's in your hard drive and is using them for evil. So you have to beat the stages and save them. And finally, I've been replaying Pokemon Fire Red for a little bit, but undergoing the pretty much.
Echo?
Sounds like it. Ah, for fuck's sake.
Oh my god. This is just working out so damn well.
So, what's the plan?
No, we're continuing as soon as Dave...
Fuck it, we'll fix it in post, right?
We will fix it in post. It just sucks that it's a lot more stuff to fix than stuff to keep right now. Dave, are you... Wait, Pope, finish your thought.
I did. I just said otherwise that's all I've been playing.
Oh, cool. Dave, what have you been playing?
You know what this reminds me of? The Sax Man, where he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Oh, Lonely Island.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, is there an echo?
No.
No.
Do you swear there's no goddamn echo?
We swear.
Okay, fuck's sakes.
Awesome. Thanks for being ready on time. Dave,
Hey.
what have you been playing? It's just you now.
Let's see, been playing Guild Wars, Guild Wars 2, Guild Wars 1 I just can't go back to anymore. Been playing a whole bunch of PS2 emulated games on the new emulator that came out, the PSX2, or PCSX2. Highly suggested for your legitimate game playing needs. I've made ISOs of all of my games, so having fun playing that, playing Persona 4 on there. Yeah, Persona 4 and 1080p looks freaking spectacular. I don't have the VIDIG version to compare it to, but I'm pretty sure it's going to kick its ass. Other than that, been on vacation the last few days, so didn't really play much anything.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Now we move on to the main part of the show where we each show the fact that we have not prepared for this at all and bring our topics to the table. I will start, if nobody minds.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Pup is on the track, probably not getting edited out because they're puppies. All right. So recently, EA, Electronic Arts, beloved game company to us all, who we have no reason to hate for anything whatsoever, has announced that future games are not going to be made under the EA label unless they include some kind of internet network component. Meaning, they're not going to release purely single-player games anymore. What do y'all think of that?
Bastards.
Elaborate on that thought.
Well, it just sounds like you're alienating a specific group of people. I mean, I'm sure before EA has made some particularly entertaining single-player games. Why are they doing this? Is it that they're not drawing a lot of revenue from single-player games anymore compared to their umpteen amounts of sports games?
Well, I can find the exact article here, but the gist of it is basically that they don't believe there's anything to that market, so they're not going after it anymore.
Well, let's look at facts here. Ultimately, the reason why EA is doing that is because they can't make any money afterward.
You think that's the only reason they want to do that?
Well, when they say that, I've actually seen the article that you're talking about, and I've seen a couple other versions where they have updates afterward with him being more specific, but they don't believe that there is any financial benefit rather, to making a game that they cannot keep on releasing content for, and therefore keep people interested 6 months down the line. I read that as, we can't make money from this game 6 months down the line, therefore go fuck yourself.
Okay. I just got to jump in there. It's not a go fuck yourself situation because they can't make money off you 6 months down the line. It's, we'd really like to continue making money from you, and we're a business. So my position on it is that that's okay. Expectations are everything. And if, EA BioWare now has to make a multiplayer version of all of their IP, that's fine. Why would that be a problem?
See, I've got no issue with a company dealing specifically in multiplayer networkable games. I don't got a grievance with that. I kind of have an issue with the callousness with which EA stated this. Like, some of the best games ever made have been single-player experiences designed for one player. A game can be a multiplayer experience, or it can be a single-player one. And it just seems so odd to limit yourselves like that. It seems so odd to outright announce this, as if they will never, ever consider a single-player game again. Which kind of sucks, because EA has acted as the publisher for some interesting single-player titles, like that one DS platformer that Poe had, whose name I always forget.
Henry Hathworth?
That's the one.
Henry Hathworth was a pretty fun game.
Yes, and it had no networking components at all to it. At least I don't think it did.
No.
Well, that's interesting. I was looking at, I haven't seen the announcement or read the language itself, but I was looking at it more like these are the expectations of the companies underneath our umbrella, just as much as it's, letting everyone else know. It's probably as much for those game developers, to know what to expect. If you're making a game with us, which many game companies are, you will have a multiplayer component. So I don't really think we're going to be missing out on anything. It's not like, the thing is, if a game's going to make money, EA would have sought it out and be willing to publish it regardless. Now, it's just simply that if you want to be published by EA, you need to have a multiplayer component. I just don't see the evil in it or any callousness. But again, I haven't read any language, so maybe I'm missing that.
No, let me just read off the clarification that he came back with here, because that can actually help us talk about this. What he said about not greenlighting anything that doesn't have an online service is that you can have a very deep single-player game, but it has to have an ongoing content plan for keeping customers engaged beyond what's on the initial disc. He's not saying Deathmatch must come to Mirror's Edge, for example. Now, from my side, if you're now going to make your developers have to have releases after the initial content disc, depending on what the game is, I call that milking. Because now, Mass Effect 3, I knew there was going to be DLC. Mass Effect 2, I knew there was going to be DLC. But in a game like, say, I'll use a recent one, Final Fantasy 13-2, where the extra content stuff that they're putting on is just basically, you've got one ending, now here's another ending, and you don't actually get the true ending unless you buy all the DLC in sequence and then play it. That's milking. That's not doing an expansion pack. That's not really adding more than saying, hey, you want the real ending? Pay me.
Now, I'm kind of okay with the episodic content thing, and maybe if this is what EA is going for, I should calm down about it. Like, hell, even the guy who made I Wanna Be the Guy, Kyan, he's releasing the sequel to that in episodic chunks, although he's not selling it for money. He's releasing it for free as far as I know. But maybe there's some merit to that. Maybe there's some merit to gaming where we pay a bunch of little amounts a little bit at a time to get the whole experience. Maybe that's just how it's going. And it's not like I can be mad at network components being needed in, say, fighting games. I'm a lot more mad that people release 2D fighters for portable systems more than that.
I guess ultimately how I'm looking at this is EA does not have a very good track record for quality of their DLC here recently. You look at Dragon Age 2, you look at Mass Effect 3, you look at the new upcoming SimCity, or even their sports games. I mean, the DLC in a lot of cases is not there to make things more fun, it's pay to win, or the DLC is really shittily made. I've actually played Leviathan, the Mass Effect 3 DLC.
Yeah.
It was buggy. It was very hastily put together, it felt. And it was not fun in any way, shape, or form. SimCity, the new SimCity coming out, has the part where you have to be online whenever you play the game because other people will affect your game. Their sports games have it that you can buy, your team to be the best in the league by having the best stats. These things don't add to the game unless you're just trying to win, I guess.
I'm not a fan.
Okay, well, just to
myself, but sorry,
provide a little tiny bit of counterpoint to that. Oh, is everything okay?
Yeah, we're good. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought you okay. I thought you were going to shut things down for a second.
No.
So yeah, like I mentioned, I haven't had a whole lot of time to play a lot of games. I have played a lot of Mass Effect 3, and I'll actually be playing Leviathan right away here for to review it. So I haven't played that one yet, but the multiplayer DLC and all the DLC that has come out previous has been free and has been really high quality for Mass Effect 3. I've been really, really pleased with every few weeks getting another chunk of content that has been well balanced and basically the opposite of everything you just said there. But haven't played a Leviathan. Yeah, I just wanted to point that out, that I thought Mass Effect 3 in particular was well done.
And I will say right out that the Mass Effect multiplayer stuff has been quite good.
Okay. Cool.
Now, on that same topic though, Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, I don't want to see a future of the games where they're adding in multiplayer that has to be played for the single player to be successful. I will still judge it for that.
Sure, but why?
Well, okay, I've done my playthrough now. In about maybe a year or two, I'll probably come back to the whole series. And I'll want to play through it again. Now, to be successful in the single player, I've got to play the multiplayer. The first time, I was more than willing. In a year or two from now, the multiplayer may not even be available anymore. That's a real big problem coming up that I see with all these online components is unless they're going to keep up servers, all of a sudden I'm now losing access to that content, which I need.
Or another fact is like, if you do get the multiplayer thing, who's going to still be playing Mass Effect 3?
As a guy who plays Mass Effect games 10 to 15 years after their release, I agree with Dave here. I'm okay with that little galactic preparedness bar going up through multiplayer as one option to raise it, but I think, in fact, I kind of like that that's an option to build that up. That's kind of cool, that interactivity between the multiplayer and the single player. I don't like how, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's the best option to raise that preparedness.
It's the only way to go beyond 50%.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Well, yeah, but 50% of your total. So if you play through the entire game and presumably all of the DLC, you could, and I haven't done the math on this obviously, but you could ostensibly reach basically the exact same endings.
You know, what they could also be doing, like, I haven't played Mass Effect 3 or anything like that, but what they could do is, let's just say in David's case, he comes back to it a couple years down the road and they're shutting down the multiplayer, like the online section. What if I'm not too sure if they would, but what if they just, like, give you the whole, like, download content so you can play it at your leisure? Wouldn't that kind of balance it out, or would you guys say they should have just done that in the beginning then, or? Like
if they add DLC later to basically give you an alternative way to raise your preparedness past 50%.
And shut down the servers. Because I know David was saying how, because if a few years down the road, let's just say they're not going to maintain the servers for years and years and years, right?
Probably not, I would imagine.
So,
EA's track record is a year after the game comes out to a year and a half for sports.
Okay. So let's just say, and you haven't finished it, I would hope that they wouldn't just say, okay, servers are closed, shut down, you can't finish the story, end of that. I'm sure they would at least give you some sort of possible download so you could finish and continue to play after the servers are done, maybe? Question mark?
Well, if they do release 3 or 4 DLC packs, and I'm sure they probably will, I mean, that's what they've done with the past few games, each of those packs will allow you to raise that readiness rating. So, like, again, I haven't done the math, but I imagine that would probably fill the gap just fine.
The problem there, Isaac, is even with the DLC, that bar is still capped at 50% for the single player.
Right, but the cap on the bar doesn't matter. What matters is your actual point total. So 50% of 10,000 is 5,000, and if 5,000 is what you need to get the best endings, then who cares? Even if you can get 10,000 now by playing through the multiplayer and getting your rating up to 100%.
Galactic readiness.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. This is remarkably similar concept to in Mega Man X5, where you had to beat stages to raise the percentage chance that your cannon would destroy the space colony about to crash into Earth. However, there was still a random component to this. You could do everything possible to prepare yourself, fire the cannon, and it doesn't work. Or you could try to show Kiki the worst ending, fire the cannon right away, and it blows up the damn station.
Yep.
Galactic readiness in Mega Man. Well, that was
Funny.
my topic.
No,
Okay,
it wasn't.
yeah, we might have gotten away from the initial point, which was forced multiplayer.
Yes,
Or false,
basically.
not that. It's not multiplayer, it's forced ability to continue to make money off the game past the initial purchase.
Yeah, and
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and you've swayed me a little bit. I get the business sense. These companies are businesses. They're in it for the money. I can just only hope that they're also in it for the games.
I think it has to depend on what game it is, what the type of content it is, and how it works. Like, if it's like Capcom where it's like, oh, give me $20 and you'll get 3 costumes, that's kind of messed up. But if it's like, okay, here's Final Fantasy 25 Part 1, buy this for like $10, then Final Fantasy 21 Part 2, I don't even remember what the first number I said, but you get my point, whatever. Yeah.
But that's just it. You vote with your wallet, though, right? So if you're paying the money, it's obviously working, so why wouldn't they do it? And it's making you happy, too.
That's true.
Apparently.
Money does
you were
make
willing
me
to do
happy.
it. Yeah,
Well, see,
maybe not, but...
Well, that's why, I think it depends on what kind of game it is, what's the content, and if the overall budget is fine.
So, that's my topic. Who wants to go next?
I will.
Isaac.
Sure. So, in the last 3 years, we've seen that game company release Flow, Flower, and more recently Journey. And I don't know if you guys have played these. Hopefully you have. Otherwise, this will be a very short conversation.
I've heard of Journey. I've seen of Journey.
Okay, cool. That's even that'll probably help out because these games are extremely non-traditional, and in some ways they're really almost not even like games. They're very experiential. You're just there to, in the case of Journey, just play through a story. In the case of Flow and Flower, it's more to just kind of experience the controls and do something very non-traditional. Anyway, so what my topic would be, I guess, is that this is something that I'm really, really quite interested in terms of games becoming more than just entertainment. Not that entertainment isn't fantastic. That's a big part of why I want to be in the industry. But how do you guys feel about games as art, or games as education, or games as non-traditional games?
Well, I can firstly say that. Do you mean like educational games, like games that teach you how to like better at school? Is that what you mean by educational, or?
Well, it could be, right? I mean, gamification is hitting just about, well, I shouldn't say that. Many, many industries right now are seeing the potential. Like, I've met some guys here in the city who are attaching monitors to overweight children, and these monitors measure like their heart rate and how many steps they take in a day. And they've made an online game that rewards them for, in the real world, taking care of themselves better. So taking more steps and raising their heart rate multiple times through the day. So it's like using games and game structures in non-traditional ways. Not just shooting people, not just gaining points, not just even playing through stories.
I need
See,
to
and
here.
I think that's super duper awesome.
Until the overweight fat little fox find a cheat code.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah, there's that.
I need to interject here and say that I was on mute when you said attach monitors to overweight children, and it's a good thing because I started laughing my head off because
You're horrible.
I imagined hooking up old-style, heavy-ass cathode ray tubes to these kids and using them as weights to make them work out. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes. Or just really heavy controllers. Well, that's one way to do it. That'd be pretty funny.
Anyway, back to what I was going to say. For educational purposes, I think that's cool. I 110% agree. Viewing them as an art form, as you said earlier, I think it was Carlos, you made the topic? I can't remember if it was you. I'm pretty sure it was.
I wrote
Aren't all games already technically an art form? Or do you mean like, yes, technically, but you mean like as you play the game like Flower, it's artistically, visually beautiful, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, probably more the second version. I absolutely do agree that games are art and have been for a very long time, with some exceptions, because of, I think intent is really important in that. So nowadays you can actually build a game like Flower that's meant to be basically art. It's very, it's not driven by the standard gameplay structures of points and levels and that sort of stuff. So, the second way is sort of what I meant.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I agree. I think those both are fine. I think if artistic way, if they want to portray that, I think that's awesome. If they don't, that's awesome too, as long as it's good quality. Educational, I'm cool with that. So, yes.
If I can weigh in on this, I wrote a Bitmob article about this called Why... I don't remember the title. I know all my own work. Basically, my argument in this article that got actually promoted to a front page article is that the reason games are art, and they are art, is because of exactly what makes a game a game. A game is a goal. A game is interactivity and rules. It's mechanics that you interact with to meet that goal, right? And you reach some kind of developer-made challenge or adversity on the way. And that even though I like game stories and aesthetics, to me, only to me, these things are gravy. That a game must be a game first. And this gravy must either be non-obtrusive or must mesh with the game. Like,
I disagree.
You disagree.
Please continue.
Like in Bastion, the story is cool, but it's essentially not interfering with what is otherwise a fairly good combat engine and a fairly customizable combat engine, and that's what makes the game for me. Whereas certain Kingdom Hearts titles are way more about telling a story, and a rather pretentious story at that, and kind of making gameplay just a secondary device to get between plot point A and plot point B. And while that is technically art, there's a piece of me that thinks that fails as a game, and that maybe this person should have just wrote a book or made a movie.
Yes. Okay, awesome. So, those are some pretty exciting things you said. So, I guess, oh boy, how many points? Okay, so I think it's totally okay for a game to not be mechanics first. I guess what I should say is, what if Kingdom Hearts, I haven't played it, but what if its story was excellent and you loved everything about it, or you thought it had great merit in for whatever reason, because it entertained you or made you sad or taught you something. So let's say you've got this good story and you enjoy it for whatever reason. Why is it a bad thing if the mechanics are incredibly simple? What if it was just basically walk around and be in the story? Wouldn't that be okay?
Keep in mind...
And if not, why not?
I'm totally okay with simplicity. I have no issue with simplicity at all. HD Remix is simple, just to give an example, and it's incredibly deep, despite being simple to get into. Maybe David Serlin wouldn't like that I said that, I don't know. But I have played games where I have soldiered on because I wanted to find out what happened to the characters. Not because I cared about the blips and bloops and button presses, but because I actually gave a shit about what happened to character A in setting B. So I have done this, and I do come away from these games thinking, I like that story. But there's still that piece of me that kind of goes, kind of wish that game was up to snuff, though. I'm okay with simplicity. I'm okay with the interactivity driving you from plot point to plot point, as long as this game still is that. As long as the story that's being told is being told by this medium that the developer chose to tell it in, where you are interacting with this world. As long as that is met, I don't have any philosophical issue with a game. I have an issue where the story was the forefront of development and the rest was just tacked on just because someone thought they could make a buck telling the story as a game.
Why? Why is that a problem? It doesn't necessarily make for good gameplay, obviously, and maybe there's a line here that's crossed that it's not a game. But again, if you've got the situation where the story is good and the other parts of it don't intrude or stop you from enjoying the story, and I'm not necessarily even defending it, I'm genuinely wondering, why wouldn't that be okay?
Now, I understand games are different things to different people. I'm talking about my own preferences here, of course.
Gotcha.
And I also like movies and television and even novels. And when I watch movies or watch a TV series or read a book, I'm not expecting choose your own adventure. I'm not expecting interactivity. I'm expecting to plug into someone else's narrative and take that for what it is. And when I play a game, I'm expecting to plug into a very different vision. I'm expecting to plug into a vision where I have to interact with this world. And this interaction has to be engaging and fun, and it has to better me somehow. I'm all for betterment in games. I think games have been bettering people since the Atari 2600 because they're objective rule systems, and you can learn, and you can grow, and you can get better at them. And you can do this in fighting games with human opponents, or Mega Man 2 learning Quickman's Death Beam pattern. I think games are betterment, and I think narratives are betterment. I just kind of have this wall in my mind where stories have these mediums to tell them, and games have this medium to express their art, and I kind of don't want things to be confused between the two. But again, this is personal. This is not me saying this is what games have to be or what stories have to be.
Sure. Like, I feel like, games in the traditional sense, and that, this is part of why it's such an exciting time for the industry. Games, the line between games and other media are blurring. And I think a game could tell a really great choose-your-own-adventure story and have absolutely minimal interactivity, but just enough to make it feel like a different experience, and that might be okay. Anyway, I don't disagree on any particular point, that's for sure. I just think that those lines are blurring and that it would be okay for, especially with indie and social and mobile being so strong, it would be okay for developers to look at new mediums or even old mediums. Like the idea of a choose-your-own-adventure story, I think has a great deal of merit in games, and it could be an educational choose-your-own-adventure story or something. And if done well, it could accomplish a whole lot. So, anyway.
Well, I definitely have to agree with the games you chose there, Isaac. I mean, that game company is just amazing with what they've done. I've had fun with all their different games. I had to say the one that I didn't have as much fun with was Flow.
Sure, why not?
And that was more just because the goal was there, but I wasn't feeling it. It went on and on and on. I kept on getting more powerful, it seemed, but I wasn't really getting anywhere.
Does Flow end? I don't want to derail this, but I'm just curious if there actually is an end to it.
I don't know.
I'm going to have to look that up now. Anyways.
And that may be a problem, or that might have been my problem. I just recently finished Journey. I sat down. I'd only gone through the first couple levels, and then I'm going through it again, and I was riveted for the entire afternoon just playing through the game because between the artistic style, between the music, and between what I was doing, everything just meshed so well. And I think that's really what they get, is just how to make everything mesh together and to give you that experience. And, I mean, you finished it. I don't know if Poe did.
I never touched Journey. I said I only heard of it.
Okay. Sorry.
I've seen Journey, and I played like a little bit of it, but it looks pretty cool. I've seen what happens.
I mean, ultimately, when you get to the end, it was the journey that mattered, and I perfectly named for that. Flower, I still go back and play through just because of how fun and intuitive the controls are. I mean, I never really thought the Syraxis controller was worth really anything to any games until I played Flower. Flower was a proof of concept that was just like, okay, this works. They understand how to make this work. And I had lots of fun, colorful, the control, it was an amazing experience. So yes, games as a Are games art? Absolutely. Do some games do better with it? Hell yes. And that game company definitely is top notch for game art experience.
Yeah, for sure. That's a really interesting point about the 6-axis controls. So you've got a game here that you don't have. Well, you do have set goals, but you have no time limit, no foe to fight. It's very non-traditional. And I think in a game that had all of the normal trappings of a video game, you wouldn't really be all that forgiving of the controls. But because of the pacing and the sort of game it is, the controls feel amazing to you, and they did to me as well. So anyway, I think that's a really interesting point there, where there's another opportunity there, basically, that they've taken advantage of. Anyway, just an interesting little sidebar.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can all agree that games are art, and whenever Ebert opens his fat mouth and says that they aren't, he's just a cock, so fuck him.
Well,
very succinct. Did you write that down? Was that prepared?
Oh, no.
That was quite a speech.
That was pure Carlos.
I mean, ultimately, I see it more as him pandering to his audience, and his audience does tend to be these days I hate to label the whole group like this, but the artsy group, as well as the older groups. And ultimately, they go to him for an opinion of a old style reviewer. Is it accurate? Not really.
To be fair,
but he's there. He panders to the audience he has.
To be fair, he has come back and said that he probably should not have spoken about a topic he didn't know about. But still, it still pissed me off.
Well, it's a super frustrating comment to hear, particularly in this day and age. Having said that, do you really feel like the industry doesn't deserve it a bit? I mean, it's clearly not, from our perspective. People who play games every day of our lives, that's not the way it is. But from the outside, you've got games like Lollipop Chainsaw and Dead or Alive Volleyball and any war game ever made. And these are the games that make tons of money and get the most press. So
okay, Isaac,
do we not deserve it a bit?
I'm going to stop you there, just based on one game you said.
Sure, go ahead.
Now, actually, maybe I'll segue this a little bit. You talk about how maybe we deserve it. Ultimately, these games are the equivalent of a TV studio doing porn and the like.
Call of Duty?
Okay, maybe not Call of Duty, but like Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball, stuff like that.
How about God of War? How about take basically any game that's popular. Take a Final Fantasy game. You've got massive violence and pretty colors. All I'm saying is that it would be easy for an outsider, particularly somebody who's critical for a living, to see that and say probably something like what he said. That's all.
Yeah, but
I don't agree.
I can come back and say, well, you review TV movies. How violent are they? The one title that got me there that you put in there was Lollipop Chainsaw. Now, yes,
by the way, disclaimer.
Okay. Like, there's a lot of violence in it, but people were very much hitting on it for its sexuality.
Yeah.
I challenge those people to go and play that game and come out with the same opinion after they're done.
It was well made, is what you're saying?
It was well made, and by the end of the game, and I'm just going to try not to spoil anything here, but you will look at it differently from just yes, there's the sexual appeal and everything else in there, but once you get to know your characters, it stops being quite so, oh, look, she's a cheerleader that looks like she's dressed like a whore.
Sure.
It's very fourth wall-y and self-aware. And
yes.
It does kind of play on the sexual roles a bit in that the dude is the object being objectified by the girly girls. And
okay, he just did it.
That's not a spoiler.
It's okay. Really not. I just didn't want to go there. But Carlos is right. It very much plays off of the gender roles that we normally see, where she's the one who's kicking ass almost in a Buffy-esque style, and the guy is made into a total object, both literally and figuratively.
Yeah, the guy is basically reduced to a head, and he's hanging off the chick's waist, and you can attach him to zombies so that he can temporarily control them. He is literally an object.
Okay, and this is a completely different topic, but why would that be okay? Why is this...
Because it's artsy.
Is it artsy? I imagine
Kiki was just messing.
Oh, okay. Like, I imagine for the most part, so you've got a game here, and you've got a solid design team, and you've got a solidly designed game, and it's a brawler, and you can sell it, and, why? Well, I know why. The answer is because, a ton more people are going to pick up and play that game because you've got this, scantily clad main character. But, I think I think the industry should try harder than that for the most part, and I guess for the most part it absolutely does. Anyway, whatever. That's a whole different topic, I guess. But I don't know why objectifying men rather than women is okay.
It's more the uniqueness of it.
I'm not saying it's necessarily okay, but in a self-aware, doing it partly to be like a parody of what it sees in gaming stories,
Sure.
I don't mind it, right? Like that. Here's the thing about art: we have to accept that if movies are art, and they are, that Michael Bay movies are also art, which means we have to accept that Superman 64 is also art.
I don't know. I think intent is really important. If you set out to make art, then you've probably succeeded. I think that should matter.
I think it does matter, but the issue is that sometimes art is accidental, right? Sometimes an author's intent creates something that is accidentally not that intent, but still artistic and of merit.
The Room.
I think we have to... The Room. The Room, jeez. Tommy was so... I think...
I'll never forget The Room.
Yes, indeed. I don't think anyone will ever forget The Room. I think we have to accept that. If games are art, and they are, we need to accept the good with the bad. We don't have to like the good. We can judge it as bad art, but we have to understand that it is that. And we can't shy away from that. When someone like Ebert calls games not art, we need to go, well, listen, would you judge all movies based on Michael Bay movies? Right? I think we have to
that's fair.
defend our art.
Cool.
Isaac, have we covered your topic suitably?
Well, probably. I think we went in different directions, but that is totally cool. Cool.
And get
with
used
me.
to that.
I even
Cool.
forgot what your topic was, to be quite honest.
Well, maybe we'll talk about it next time.
You'll just hear this afterwards.
So we don't have to do everyone's topic today because some people mentioned they didn't bring one. But did anyone
good.
else bring any? Oh, good. Thank God. So I don't know if you have one in mind, Dave, but I know Poe had one in mind that he wanted to talk about.
I'll let Poe go.
What I was thinking about, like in the planning phase, challenge modes. It's like whenever you're playing a game, and it's like games these days how they put in like either like separate challenges, it's like you can access from an option, like difficulty settings, in-game challenges like going through them to get achievements, like say the challenges from Sonic Adventure DX on the GameCube. Or even self-implied or self-made challenges that the players themselves put themselves on a game that they're playing in order to increase A, replayability, and B, make them a little more challenging. Hold up.
Hold up.
I totally One Life Mega Man games for funsies, where if I die, I just turn off the game. Done. So that counts, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
that counts towards a self-imposed sort of challenge.
Okay,
Too.
cool.
Poe,
What?
Sonic Adventure DX had challenge mode?
Yeah, don't you remember where you had to find those emblems across the world areas, and sometimes you had to go into stages in order to complete
Okay. Because I was sitting here like, what the fuck? Okay, never mind. Yes. Okay, got it. I'm cool now.
I think of more of the challenge rooms in, say, Batman Arkham Asylum or Arkham City.
Oh, those challenges are funny when you can't do it.
Would you like to elaborate?
No, it's just, wait, you know what, Chris, you never paid them because, you took a million years.
I will
But
finish them in 5
especially
years.
in Arkham City, it's just so funny to hear the robotic one always saying, somebody help me out. David, you play it. What did they say when you...
Challenge rooms, I don't bother with them.
No, oh, fuck. Never mind.
I believe it was our good pal Marcus who played through those, but, you must remain anonymous. I mean, fuck.
Well, no, friend of the show, Marcus, has been mentioned before, but he is off doing important work in the jungles of Latveria, Challenge modes. Ho, why don't you tell us about that Nuzlocke challenge you've been doing?
It all started off from this one webcomic this one guy did, where he was bored, so he fired up his Pokemon Ruby game. He was going to follow 2 specific rules. It's one that he placed on himself, and that hasn't been implemented in the game until Pokemon Black and White 2 comes out, where if there's someone who's already beaten the game on normal, he can wirelessly or Wi-Fi share an easy mode and a hard mode to other people to beat it. So yeah, a Pokemon with difficulty game for the first time in ever.
But can you explain the Nuzlocke mode so that we can talk about it? Just to tell us the conditions of this challenge.
Okay, so far there are basically only 2 rules. The first is that you keep any route you go, any route, cave, or area you go into, the first Pokemon you see is the Pokemon that you either catch. No, is the Pokemon you have to catch. If you accidentally knock it out, you can catch any other Pokemon in that route or area or cave. There is a common exception that you can do to this rule that keeps you from getting 2 of the same Pokemon. For example, like if you already caught a Pidgey on Route 1, if the first Pokemon you see in Route 2 is another Pidgey, you're allowed to find another Pokemon that isn't a Pidgey, so that your team isn't full of Pidgeys.
And the second rule?
Second rule is that if a Pokemon faints, you treat it as dead. That means after the Pokemon dies, you either have to A, release it, or B, store it in a box on your PC, aptly named, often is optional, aptly named something like dead or diseased or whatever, and you can't use that Pokemon again. And if all of the Pokemon that you have die, then your run's pretty much done.
So it's a game over, basically.
Pretty much. There are some extra rules people throw on themselves, like you can't use healing items or stat healing items that you can only heal at a Pokemon Center. That one's not an official rule. But another one is also nickname everything you get.
Okay. So what does everybody think of that?
I always nickname my Pokemon.
Excellent.
That was my contribution to that.
But imagine if there are imagine if that was like an actual option you could put in an official Pokemon game that isn't self-implied, that isn't self-imposed.
It would definitely make that game more interesting. Pokemon would still suck hard, though. EA would release it, though.
Was that supposed to be a shot at them, or was that supposed to be a good thing?
I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure there are people at EA kicking themselves over the fact they didn't think of Pokemon.
Or I'm surprised they didn't do a Nuzlocke for their NFL games. It's like if one guy gets tackled, boom, he's dead. I am terrible.
Just like World Cup Soccer on the NES, where shoulder tackling is allowed and being knocked out on the field is part of the game.
Oh yes, I love it. I love Nintendo World Cup.
It's so fucking crazy.
Like
but anyway, back on topic.
I mean, ultimately, the whole self-challenge mode, I mean, we've been doing that for years, so making it official where you can do rule sets, yeah, sure. Let's limit ourselves, officially have the options in games, but challenge rooms and the like, I mean, they're part of games where they can fit. They tend to shoehorn them in some cases, but hey, they're there. If you play it, you play it. If you don't really care to, great.
I kind of like the Bastion approach where they have those idols you can turn on, and each one makes the game more difficult in a very specific way. Like now, enemies will occasionally become invulnerable. Enemies will occasionally bounce bullets back. Enemies have more health. Those kinds of things. The game was arguably too easy even with all 10 of those on, because that's how I played through it, but still, good times. Isaac,
all 10 idols with me,
self-imposed a challenge on your games? What? 2 people talked, nullified each other. Isaac, have you self-imposed a challenge on a game you've played?
I'm absolutely sure that I have, but to be honest, that's becoming less and less common for me the more I get into game design in the industry. I just feel like I don't really have a whole lot of time for that stuff, so... It takes a game that's really got its hooks in me for me to want to spend extra time with it.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's fair. You'd probably think about adding that as an option in a game you make if you feel it added value.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
I brought this whole challenge topic thing up as a whole also just to challenge, it's like adding whatever sort of challenge to a game in particular. It's like, does it help, does it make a person want to play a game more, again, like on a higher difficulty or a lower difficulty or something like that?
Oh, I would definitely say so.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I think I interrupted somebody.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Oh,
Me?
that was it.
Isaac.
Please continue speaking.
Somebody talk.
No, Isaac, go.
Oh, for God's sake, sorry, News. I thought you were talking. Okay, right on. So, yes. The short answer is yes. I absolutely think that helps out. But again, it's a good game that you want to spend more time with will do this. I really love the Mass Effect series because they hook me with the story and the characters. And, I've played through all of them on all the difficulties for that reason. So,
I definitely think a well-made game will lend itself to that. I'm a big fan of Mega Man games. They lend themselves to that because you don't have to go to your inventory and use the weapons you've picked up unless there's a stage designed where you need to do that for a specific section. You can just challenge yourself to stick to one weapon or another. So, yeah, challenges.
And another game I was thinking about this sort of thing about challenges was like Halo Reach, because sure you can just play the game on its normal, its base difficulty. You also have the option of choosing to play at its most difficult, where everything tries to kill you with all of its, like, the skulls, they call it? Is that the equivalent of the idols from Bastion?
Yeah, it's the skulls.
Yeah, you can play it with all the skulls on the highest difficulty, and that's another sort of challenge on its own. The sort of difficulty spikes that the game gives you, so that it makes you a better player. It gives you more points, stats, achievements, etc.
I think the takeaway is that, maybe for higher difficulty settings, make them interesting. Don't just ramp up enemy health. Make it more difficult in interesting ways. Like how you can make the grunts more suicidal. That's interesting.
That's a good point, too.
Yeah.
But then again, it's not like going through all these challenges in the campaign mode will make you a better player in multiplayer. Bless you.
Thanks for that, Noza.
Wow.
See, that was a sneeze that couldn't be controlled.
Indeed. So, are we done on the topic roundtable portion, or do we have anyone else to bring anything up?
Oh, I'm done.
I actually do have a quick topic. I mean, it could be a whole podcast in itself, I think. But Kickstarter, good or bad for the games industry?
Oh,
Sometimes good.
So good. All right, good talking.
Don't support full version of Cheetah Men 2.
Yeah, that's the bad part, where people put up Kickstarters to release an NES cartridge of a non-glitchy version of Cheetah Men 2, and that's it. What the fuck?
Well, ultimately, I was going to try and go into stuff like we're not guaranteed a product, the costs involved. I do like the idea that a number of developers are able to fund their game without having to basically sell their souls to companies like EA. So I do expect. I am very hypercritical of EA in general.
Publishers are wonderful. They bring us all kinds of wonderful things that we get to play. It's great. You should love EA.
Yeah, David.
Yeah.
Carlos, I thought you don't like EA.
I love EA. Anywho, Kickstarter. I think it's good.
Kickstarter.
It's good that it exists. But there are definitely some grimy projects on Kickstarter, games or otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't mind kicking in a few bucks to that RPG source book, Serenio, is that what it was called? You linked it to me, Isaac.
Numenaria from Monty Cook, yeah, for sure.
I'm thinking of something completely different. I don't know where the fuck I got Serenio from. Anywho, I don't mind kicking in a few bucks to that. I don't mind kicking in a few bucks to Super Retro Squad, which is an original game made by the guys who made Super Mario Bros. Crossover. And I certainly don't mind kicking into anything that has Serlin's name on it. But I didn't kick into the Ouya, because...
You were going to, but I told you not to.
Yes, and
I convinced you not to.
You convinced me because you told me your suspicions, and I am now suspicious as well that the system won't come out and maybe is a scam A $9 million scam. I can't believe they got that much money.
They probably pieced out with it.
We got $9 million. Why would we invent an Android console? See you later, suckers!
Anyone who has actually contributed to this, we feel sorry for you. And you
Unless
should be
it comes
ashamed of
out and
yourself.
it's awesome. If it turns out to be awesome, fuck it. I'll just buy the damn system. I don't mind that I didn't chip in. Fuck off. Don't have to chip in.
Jeez,
Crappy.
but
Yeah.
that's like missing the point of Kickstarter. Obviously, they didn't need your $20 or $100, but they could have. Did you
would've
want to
been
support the
nice.
project? Yeah, it would have been really nice.
It would have been nice, but I'm still iffy. The point is, though, for things I'm not iffy about, Kickstarter is awesome, and I don't mind chipping in for those, and I'm glad this service exists.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've got to wonder if at some point it's going to completely run its course if there's just too much Kickstarter. But for right now, I think it's bringing us some pretty amazing products, and we wouldn't have seen them otherwise.
I don't think it's going to go anywhere anytime soon just because people are always like, oh yeah, it's kind of like YouTube. I don't think YouTube started off that popular, but now everyone's trying to throw in any kind of video they can throw out there just to see if they'll get popular, like Justin Bieber, right?
Yeah,
he
sure.
got super lucky, but now everyone's like, oh, well then I can too.
Indeed.
So
Or
You should be
those
using it
jackasses
that
who
little
release
idiot
podcasts.
Rebecca Black.
What?
What?
Example you should be using is Rebecca Black. She sucks, but her video got like a fuck ton of views on YouTube, and everyone's like, oh wow, if Rebecca Black can get that many views on YouTube, maybe I can too.
Or what about those jackasses who make podcasts that nobody cares about? Just releases them.
Yeah, fuck those assholes.
Those fucking assholes. All of them.
Kickstarter. I was gonna say, in respects to that, I think it's a good thing. It's not gonna go away anytime soon because there's just either a lot of people just gonna throw out junk or they're gonna throw something really good and someone's gonna pick up on it eventually. So I think it's a good thing. But like everything else, all good has a little bit of bad.
Yes,
Agreed.
And in Kickstarter's case, it's the weird porno projects that Kickstarter eventually boots off of it.
I'm not aware of these.
Yeah, neither am I.
Kickstarter. I'm not asking for URLs or anything, but I'm wondering, does Kickstarter have something against porn-related Kickstarter projects, or?
There was this card game this one American developer was releasing that basically involved tentacles and girls that Kickstarter eventually pulled.
Yikes.
Yes.
What's with the tentacles? I don't understand this.
Because there are so many of them.
I know God damn it.
So, fellows, this is normally the part where we would do games on Two Fat Guys Talk Games.
Games?
Sure.
So let's do it. All right. So, what game should we play on Two Fat Guys Talk Games? Do we want to do the...
I thought you had a game.
No, the one I was mentioning in the car. We'll never
No,
win
not
at
that one. That one's too hard.
Yeah, that one's way too hard. We'll lose that one on turn 2. Let's just do what we did last time, where we do the letter thing, where we start with A, and then someone has to mention something with B, except what should our topic be?
Because last time it was villains, wasn't it?
Yeah, we started with RPG villains, or not RPG villains, just video game
Towns.
villains. And then we went backwards from Z for towns on our second game. Hang on, I'm getting a carrier pigeon from Marcus from Latveria. He says weapons. So I'm taking this to mean that he wants us to name specific weapons from games by name, by proper name, for each letter of the alphabet. I'm going to just send this message back to him on Pigeon that it's been received and let it go into the sky, and bam! It's flying off into the sunset. Okay, so this is our game. We are going to start with letter A, and then we're going to go around in random order, and through the magic of the internet, I've developed an order list, and then we start with A, next person does B, next person does C. If someone fails, that letter moves on to the next person. Last person left is the winner. We all good?
Yeah.
Do we have to mention where the weapon is from?
If someone calls bullshit on you, you have to present your evidence.
Okay.
Yep. So here's the order: Isaac, Kiki, myself, Dave, Poe.
Okay.
Sorry, I may have gotten incredibly distracted by something here. It's probably best if you skip me. Sorry.
No,
No,
Oh.
you're first.
Yes. Name
What?
a weapon from a game that starts with A. Go.
Go?
Go.
Oh, man.
Okay, wait.
Honestly, it's best if you just skip me.
Go.
I'm out.
You're not.
Oh, no.
Don't do
Damn
it.
it.
You have 1 minute to think of a weapon that starts with an A. Now you better go.
Sorry, Noza. He skipped his turn. Kiki.
No, I don't want to do A.
A.
Fine. I'll do A. Axe. Go.
No. Proper name. A proper noun. A named weapon.
Okay. No, axe is a proper weapon. You can, like in, what's it called? Fuck, what is the name of that game? Ogre Battle. You could equip axes.
Yeah. No. An
It
axe
just says axe.
is a type. There is no legendary axe called axe.
There is.
10 seconds.
No, it's not 10. No, you didn't even give me a minute.
Okay, fine. 30 seconds.
No, I get 40 more seconds.
Well, think of the damn weapon.
Okay. Why did I get A? This is bullshit. Uh-oh.
What?
I can't think of one.
And of course, this is, doesn't need to be said, no Google.
I know that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. 5!
10, 9, 8.
I'm still gonna go with axe. I'm gonna Google it myself. Axe is so goddamn weapon.
No, of course it's a weapon, but it's not a named one of
It's
proper...
a named weapon.
Okay, you're out. I'm next. Atmo weapon. Dave,
Oh, that's not fair! I hate this game.
Wow. No, that's not one. No, that's not one.
2 seconds.
Why only 2?
I'm pretty sure somewhere out there's a sword called the Bravo sword.
Bravo sword.
Sure.
I'm totally looking this up. Bravo.
You go ahead. I don't have Wiki in front of me.
Really? It exists?
Which
Yes!
game?
From where?
What fucking game? That's not fair.
Dungeons and Dragons Online has the
God
Bravo
damn it,
sword.
David.
Yes.
No. That's
Po. C.
Caliburn.
What?
Caliburn.
Yes,
Spell that
that
for
is
me?
true.
Oh, wait.
That's from
We have
that's from-
confirmation.
Sonic and the Black Knight.
Sonic and the Black Knight. The sword is called
God.
Caliburn.
Sonic. God damn it. Carlos. D. Oh shit, that's me. The Death Scythe. Magus' ultimate weapon from Chrono Trigger.
Ooh, this one.
It's called Death Scythe.
Death
Well,
Scythe. On the
and there's-
Super Nintendo, it was called the Doom Sickle, but on the DS version and other retranslations, it was the Death Scythe.
Damn. Okay, fine. So David's now at E.
Excalibur, bitches.
Oh,
Easy.
fuck off.
Too easy.
Po
F.
F.
Okay, let's see. F.
I can't believe Dave got E.
I know, right? I wish I got G.
F. Po.
I'm thinking.
Oh, I thought one for F. God damn it.
I've got one.
Po.
Flowing Sword.
Oh, nice.
Which?
It's
From Fantasy Star Online. The Flowing Sword.
You get it from
Yeah.
Olga Flow. I had it at one point.
Oh,
Carlos.
you get Flowing
G.
Sword from something else.
No,
G.
you can get. Oh, no, you're right. Poe's right. You don't get it from Olga Flow. You get the
G.
Dark Flow from Olga Flow.
Well, whatever. Flowing sword is still a fucking weapon. It's still there. G. I'm going to go with Grandleon, which was what the Masamune was called in Japan for Chrono Trigger.
What's with you and Chrono Trigger right now?
It's like David was from Dragon Ball from last time.
Yeah, what the hell?
I'm going to confirm Grandleon was the name. Yes, it was. Haha, I'm too good.
Good job, Kirker.
Thank you. Dave, H.
Hal's Sword. Fable 2.
Oh, God.
Hmm.
Oh, I
Alright, let's see.
name the weapon that starts with
Ice Saber, Final Fantasy 6.
Oh, nice.
What do you say?
Ice Saber.
Oh.
Carlos gets J. Oh, no. The fuck starts with J? Jorgenheimer, Momo, Medusa. The jumping sword. I gotta look this up.
I swear to God, if there's a jumping sword, I'm gonna call shenanigans. Jumping sword.
No.
Uh-huh.
No jumping sword. Carlos is out. Dave, J.
Okay.
No, J.
Hey, if David doesn't get it and Poe doesn't think of one, does that mean nobody wins?
No, Poe will win by default.
Carlos, you're gonna hate me for this.
Yeah, you Googling motherfucker, I'll hate you.
I don't. Fuck
I
off.
know you're not using Google.
It's from one of your favorite games, Shadow of the Night. Jewel Sword.
Did you call it Shadow of the Night again?
Just to piss you
Symphony
off. That
of the
Symphony
Night.
is awesome.
You fucking tool. And yes, there is a Jewel Sword. Fuck. J. Poe, K.
Kaiser Knuckle.
Nice. K.
Where's
L.
that from?
L. Dave,
Oh,
L. The
I think-
Kaiser Knuckle is from, it's one of Sabin's weapons. Dave, L.
Ooh boy. It has to be a weapon you can wield, or can it be a mech?
Weapon
Judges,
used to inflict damage.
you can inflict damage with a mech. You can inflict damage with a fork. Yeah, what the fuck? Name a mecha. As long as we can classify it as a weapon.
Okay, because there's a mecha in Super Robot Wars. Laz Angrif or Agrif?
Can you spell that?
L-A-Z, and it's either A-G-R-I-F-F or A-N-G-R-I-F-F.
I'll find it.
The Laz Angrif is a fictional robot in the Super Robot Wars series. Its upgrade is known as the Laz Angrif Raven. It appears as a playable unit in Super Robot Wars Advanced, Super Robot... Yeah, I guess. Alright. Poe, M. And Dave, you just made a horrible mistake because Poe knows the names of like 1 million different Gundams.
Shit.
It had to put
How
mecha
many
in
on
this
his
thing.
mantle?
M. Master Gundam.
Dave, N. I know Poe already has an N because there's a Gundam that starts with that.
Okay, how about we go that we both pulled the mech trigger and now it has to go back to weapons.
Oh, what the hell? No. You
I'm
opened
screwed
Pandora's
as far as
box.
mechs.
I'm
However,
But
you know,
it's weapons anyway, so go. It doesn't matter if the
you know what came to mind? The N Nerf, and there was a Nerf video game, so N Strike.
Yes, the Nerf gun. Oh,
Huh.
Poe, oh.
Let's see.
Oh?
Uh-oh.
I know, I'm thinking, let me see. It's a long shot, but there was a weapon in Disgaea called Oblivion.
Who used it?
Probably.
Actually, you know what? I do remember this weapon, too. Okay, Oblivion. P. Dave, P.
Shit.
No, P.
I am absolutely sure that at some point or another there's been a weapon in either Dragon Warrior or in Final Fantasy called the Paralysis Sword.
Looking it up. Dave, I'm not finding a... Wait. I'm not finding a sword specifically called the Paralysis Sword. Can you find an example of this Paralysis Sword?
Let me jump online here.
Isaac, are you still with us?
Yeah, sorry, just barely, but yeah, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. We're coming to the end soon.
Paralysis. Yeah. Nothing specifically called it, just I guess back in Tactics Ogre, if you did a paralysis sword, it was called that, but nothing actually named the paralysis sword.
Did it produce a weapon? Or was it an attack just called that?
No, like Monster Hunter Tri had it's a paralysis sword because it has the paralysis enchant.
Yeah, because we're looking for titles. If a spell created something called the Paralysis Sword, like how in Saga Frontier, the Light Sword spell puts the Light Sword in your hand, and you can now use it with your other sword skills, that would apply, I think.
Yes.
Well, you could do it back in Oblivion, but you know something? Let's see what Poe can come up with.
The P?
Oh?
No, but doesn't that mean he wins?
It would, but now I'm curious. Poe, do you have a weapon for P?
I have a weapon for P.
Poe already wins, but I just want to know if he's thought of one.
Well, no, if he doesn't have a name, then he doesn't win.
No, sure he does.
Proton
The last
cannon.
one alive. Say again, Poe?
It's a long shot, but proton cannon.
Is there a proton cannon?
That's what Iron Man uses.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yep, bam, done. Poe's
I'm
our
gonna-
wiener.
Yay!
All right, we are well past the hour mark, so I think it's time to thank all of our friends for showing up. Thank you, Kiki.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Poe.
No.
Thank you, Isaac.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
And this has been Carlos,
And Dave.
Two Fat Guys Talk Games, and we'll see you all next time. Make random noises. Ha! Nah, shouldn't have done that. All right.